Welcome to the Born for a Better podcast, where it's about better health, better wealth, and better self. And I'm your host, Devin Dewan. And today, what I'd like to discuss with you all is can't put a price on your health. So let's go ahead and get into this thing. With so many issues on the rise, is causing people to feel a certain way about their own health, about their own well-being. And what we have to start do is tune into ourselves more. That self-awareness has to increase, because if it doesn't, it's putting us at a detriment. That's really what it's coming down to. If we don't take our own health seriously, who else will? So it starts with, you, the person in the mirror. That's where it all starts. And it's just amazing the time that we're living in right now, just with all that is going on. There's a lot of different things being blasted on the news. There's a lot of different things being blasted on social media, etc. But we ourselves have to be the ones to control ourselves to be able to hold it all together. So my encouragement after today's podcast is, once you hear this, hey, you know what? I'm going to get up. I'm going to do something about my own health. And when you start to do something, then maybe you encourage somebody else to do something. But it has to first start with you. You are the most important person. You wake up to yourself. You go to sleep with yourself. You are with self all day. So why not go ahead and start to, put your health as a number one priority, especially just doing these uneasy, uncertain times. So I got some articles I'm going to just nitpick at. I'm going to pull some things out of because we're going to talk about just overall well-being. For me, as being a trainer, as being a stretchologist, as being a person who advocates for personal wellness, as being a person who likes to educate people on these things, I find it that we have to not only think about our physical health, but we have to think about our emotional health, right? Our mental health, our spiritual health. I'm a big believer in holistic approaches and looking at the whole person. We are our whole selves. We're not divided. We have to understand that all facets of self are equally important, and they all do different things for us. So without further ado, let's get into this article I was looking at from the CDC. And the title of this is CDC releases updated maps of America's high levels of inactivity. 25% of U.S. adults are not active enough to protect their health. Let's see what it's talking about. So it says, more than 1 in 5 adults is active in all but 4 states, according to new state maps of adult physical inactivity prevalence released by the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention. For these maps, physical inactivity for adults is defined as not participating in any physical activities outside of work over the last month, activities such as running, walking, gardening, etc. State and territory level estimates of physical inactivity range from 17.7% of people in Colorado to 49.4% in Puerto Rico. In 7 states and 1 territory, Alabama, Arkansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, Oklahoma, West Virginia, and Puerto Rico. 30% or more of adults were physically inactive. By region, the South had the highest prevalence of physical inactivity, 27.5%, followed by the Midwest, 25.2%, Northeast, 24.7%, and the West, 21%. Okay, so right there, just looking at the regions of this country, notice how the West has the most physical activity. Now, some would say, well, they got beautiful weather there all year round. Okay, that could be true. But also, could it be that the communities and society at large in that part of the country are pushing for better health? They're pushing for better wellness. That is a part of the culture there. Whereas it's saying that in the South, which is another region where it's hot, but that is the region with the highest inactivity. Well, how could that be? I mean, both the West and the South are hot. So what is the difference there? Well, it's like, well, if we look at the South, what is the mindset, right? What is the cultural influence there? Because that's what's going to dictate what people do. And then followed by that is the Midwest. I mean, the Midwest, again, cultural indifferences, a lot of segregation, cold weather, unpredictable weather. All of these things play a part. So I wanted to point that out as I was reading this article. I just thought I'd give a little bit of insight there. Okay, so as we continue, getting enough physical activity could prevent 1 in 10 premature deaths, said Ruth Peterson, MD, Director of CDC's Division of Nutrition, Physical Activity, and Obesity. Says too many people are missing out on the health benefits of physical activity, such as improved sleep, reduced blood pressure and anxiety, lower risk and heart disease, several cancers, and dementia, including Alzheimer's. So just by physical activity, you can help to prevent these things completely in some instances just by physical activity. It's so important to be physical, right? It's so important to put your body under some healthy stress, because actually you got all that pent up stress going on. Physical activity is a release. Let some of those things go. So it's important that, hey, listen, you can start working out at home. I mean, for me, what I do is I work out with people. I literally work out with them in the mornings. Join my morning class. Yes, I am definitely throwing that in there. Join the morning class at 7:30 a.m. You can go on my website, sign up, for a free class. Join it, because this is serious. Your physical activity, it's important. I mean, your body is an engine. You got to put the right fuel in that engine. You gotta prime that engine. You got to make sure it stays running. So like I say, go to my website, truegainsfitness.com, and you can join that class. Shout out to all the True Gainers over there. But more importantly, it doesn't matter where you go. Go to your local gym. Go outside. Heck, start in your house. Start somewhere. But that physical activity is important. And so, let's move on. Let's move on to something else. So let's talk about mental health. Okay, this is coming from the National Alliance of Mental Illness. Let's talk about some facts that they lay out there that they're seeing. Okay, it says 1 in 5 U.S. adults experience mental illness each year. 1 in 20 U.S. adults experience serious mental illness each year. 1 in 6 U.S. youth age 6 through 17 experience a mental health disorder each year. 50% of all lifetime mental illness begins by age 14 and 75% by age 24. It even goes on to say suicide is the second leading cause of death among people aged 10 to 34. This is nuts. This is nuts. Because not only is the physical aspect important, now we see how not being physical or having all of these physical ailments, right? Having all these diseases then can translate over into your mental health. And we see that people are suffering mentally. Well, let's look at some of the things that's going on. Food, for example. If you're eating the wrong food and this food doesn't have any nutritional value, right? Your body is deprived. Your body is deprived of nutrients. So you're going to respond a certain way to that. You may have certain mood changes, mood swings because of that. It may cause you to be in lower depressive states. Just eating a whole bunch of sugar. It tastes good in the beginning, but it's the crash that comes with it that can bring you down to those lower states, right? Or it could be all of those different processed foods that yeah, they may taste good, but then again, when they're being digested and the digestive system is working hard to break it down, it can cause discomfort within your body. Now you don't feel good. Now you have low energy. We got to be careful again with what we're putting in. That's the fuel. Also, sleep. We're not getting enough sleep, y'all. Just point blank, period. Whether it's things on our mind like our job or kids or a relationship or financial issues, or whether it's I'm just looking at the TV and I'm going to sleep to the TV, so all that blue light is entering and it's causing me not to go into a deep sleep. You got to look at those things. Or if you're on your tablet or you're on your phone when you're laying in the bed, like, let those things go. They're going to be there tomorrow. Get your sleep. Sleep is the mother of all healers. If you're not doing it, I suggest you do. So, going on looking at this statistical data from National Alliance for Mental Illness, let's go down. It says it's talking about what's happening in the communities. All right. So it says mental illness and substance use disorders are involved in 1 out of every 8 emergency department visits by a U.S. adult. That's estimated at 12 million visits. It says mood disorders are the most common cause of hospitalization for all people in the U.S. under age 45. That's interesting. Across the U.S. economy, serious mental illness causes 193 billion in lost earnings each year. 20.8% of people experiencing homelessness in the U.S. have a serious mental health condition. 37% of adults incarcerated in the state and federal prison system have a diagnosed mental illness. 70% of youth in the juvenile justice system have a diagnosable mental health condition. 8.4% of active component service members in the U.S. military experience a mental health or substance use condition. And 15.3% of U.S. veterans experience a mental health illness. Again, this is why it's important to have a physical activity. This is why it's also important to mind your business. Mind your business. If you're being distracted by all of the ills of the world, and there are many, too many to name, too many to count. But if you're not minding your business, then you will lose your mind. If you're not minding your business, you will lose your mind. So take care of your mental health. Now, if you need to go see someone, go get help. That's probably going to be the best thing for you. If you can't afford to get that help, start working on those things that we were just talking about earlier. Eating better food, getting better sleep, working out. All of those things are by default going to make you feel better. They really are. And, also just start looking into things on your own. Do some research for yourself. Help yourself. Right? Now, also seek out help, but help yourself. Again, you are the most important person in your life. So these statistics are bearing out that there aren't enough people in the right position to help themselves. And because of their mental states, they're not willing to help themselves. And that could be a hard pill to swallow. I mean, I've been there. I've been down that road, that dark place, and it's a hard place to come back from, but you got to fight. And again, if you're listening if you are going through that, fight. Don't give up on yourself. You have so much more to live for. You have so much more to gain. There's a purpose. All you got to do is seek it out, right? Start asking yourself those hard questions. Figure out what it is that, you're supposed to be doing that adds meaning, that adds value to your life. So just want to put that out there. And then the last thing I wanted to touch on when it just says what's going on in the world, it just says here on the website, depression and anxiety disorders cost the global economy 1 trillion in lost productivity each year. Depression is a leading cause of disability worldwide. Wow. That is something key to note. That's something key to note, that depression is such a debilitating state. And yes, it's a state of mind. Where is depression coming from? Depression comes from and this is my definition of it, seeing as I had gone through before. Depression comes from not living the life that you want to live. Now, that doesn't mean you need to have fancy clothes, cars, jewelry, and all these other different things that society is going to tell you to get. Living your life means being you, 100%, being authentically you. When people have to be, these fragmented versions of themselves, they're not being whole. And I just told you earlier, I believe in that wholeness. People not being whole out here. The other thing is, doing things, gathering skills, right? Utilizing your talents. This is going to give you confidence in yourself to where you feel good about yourself. But if you are constantly doing something that you don't feel is beneficial, it's not adding value to you, it's not giving you confidence, then what are you doing? You got to ask yourself that question, like, what am I doing? Do some things that's going to help build you. Get around people that they have high energy. Just by default is going to lift you up, right? Now don't go being an energy vampire trying to suck energy from nowhere, because there's some people out there too that be doing that. There's some energy vampires. Yeah, that's right, I said it, fangs and all. So watch yourself. If you carrying a lot of light, you carrying a lot of energy around here, watch out for them energy vampires. But seriously, if you are feeling low, get around people that can bring your energy up. Don't just wallow in that. Don't just lay in that. But they say you make your bed, you lay in it. If your bed is full of darkness, then you're gonna lay in darkness, my friend. So don't do that. And then it's also important to know too that it's just a moment in time. We're not gonna feel happy all the time, right? We don't have to feel sad all the time either. Sometimes, and here's what I learn and continue to learn, is you don't have to express your emotion either way. You don't have to be happy or sad about what's going on. You can just be. Just be. Be conscious of what is going on in your internal world, what I like to call your innerverse. Mind your business, all right? Because it's so important. It's so important. Now, the last thing I really want to touch on here is just what is causing people to lose hope. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but it's just, again, things that we need to note. So looking at the U.S. News website here, it says, for an American populace that has been hit with bad news after bad news, the inflation numbers reported this week are particularly painful. Prices for food goods are up 9.1% from a year ago, more even than the dire predictions of economists and the fastest pace since late 1981. Gas prices have dropped steadily, but are still high. Let's just talk about that real quick. Who has been to the gas pump? This is ridiculous. If you all know how to make gas, just let me know. Send me an email, Phone a friend. I'm your friend. Phone me. Because gas is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Inflation is even more ridiculous. Have you all seen the price of chicken wings? It is something else. Listen, y'all better eat every part of that wing, okay? You know, you may, and take your time too, because it is expensive. It is expensive. Also, you know, things like mass shootings. So they said on the website, mass shootings already were becoming more common on its face, an upsetting trend. But the chilling video released this week where law enforcement stood in a hallway doing nothing while a killer gunned down 19 children had people wondering whether they could count on very people that they hired to protect. Again, I don't want to spend too much time on this. It's ridiculous the state that we're in, that people want to do the things that they want to do, that they don't value life. So you got to ask yourself, what level of hatred do they have for themselves that they display that hatred outwardly? That you would go take another life because you don't have yours together. That's some stuff. That's some deep stuff right there. Which again, this is why you have to, dare I say it, for the umpteenth time, mind your business, right? So you could take care of your mind. You got to mind yourself. Otherwise, you lose it. Next thing you know, you out here doing something you don't have no business doing, and now the rest of the world has to hear about it. Mm-hmm. Take care of yourself. And of course, there are other things too that got people going crazy. Whether it be on a political front, whether it be on the economic front, a lot of people are suffering with finances, and you have social media and the news, like I say, pushing a lot of different things down our throats to make us stay in a certain state, and we call this entertainment. It's a hot mess. It's a hot mess. But what can you do to keep your spirits up, keep your mind strong, keep your emotions in check, keep your body going? Again, work out, eat well, sleep well. Really, really mind your thoughts. Be conscious of yourself. Get rid of those distractions that aren't serving you. Get around people that are going to lift you up, that have that high energy, that can pull you out of that dark space. I have a book called Negative Orientation, Breaking Through the Programming. I realized that this world is really programmed in a very negative way. And if we keep on allowing that program to be at the forefront, to be the operating system we use, it's only going to hinder us. By the way, you can go get that book. Check it out. It's on Amazon. It's at Barnes and Noble. It's on Google Play. Yeah, that's right. That's right. You got to drop your stuff sometime. But to be serious, it's a short to the point book that's really talking about the state of the world that we in right now. So go check it out. I think you'll really get some insights from it on how to get out of these dark spaces. Again, I've been there. I know about it. This is why I wrote about it, so you could read about it and then you could do something about it. With that being said, listen, guys, remember this. Do better is an action. Be better is a lifestyle. I'm your host, Devin Dewan, and until next time, take care.